All right, now that we have our paper cut nicely, we're gonna start ripping. And there's a couple different ways to rip your paper. We want this nice kind of rough edge that makes it look like waves instead of a straight edge. That would be a pretty calm ocean. So we're gonna take our pincher fingers, our paper's going vertical, and we're gonna start, there's two ways. One way is you can just tear it right down with your pinchers. So my two pinchers, go ahead and just tear it right on down. And I'm just using my pinchers all the way down. That's one way to rip paper. The other way is kind of like Addison's doing. This will be a stopping point for me. You can keep one hand straight down, the other one rips along. Notice I'm going slow. I don't want to rip it super fast and have it rip off the side. So I want 3 nice pieces. I'm gonna move this extra paper out of my way. And when I'm done, I have 3 great pieces of waves here. Addison's finishing hers. Let's move this out of our way. Then in your kit, you have a piece of yellow paper. We're gonna get that yellow paper and glue on our waves. So you'll need your yellow paper and your glue. You can lay these out and play around and see what looks best, see how you might want them to look. You could do it one way. You definitely want a straight edge on the bottom. Turn it this way. Play around and see what you think is gonna look best. Let's see here. Maybe like that. So do you have a way you think looks great?
Yep.
We definitely need a straight edge on the bottom. And then you're gonna go tuck it underneath and tuck it underneath, okay? Perfect.
Okay.
So we're gonna start with the straight edge. We're gonna flip it over to put glue on it. So pick up your straight edge, open up your glues, flip it over. Okay, the bottom right here, we only want to glue the bottom. That way we can tuck in our boats later. So we're going to put a strip of glue right on the bottom. And we're going to match up, oh, this paper is a little bit bigger, isn't it? Match up our bottoms just like this. This paper is a little bit bigger. So I'm going to cut these down. To measure and cut. Just cut the extra off. There we go. You can use that template to cut off, get that template there. Yep. And you'll know how much you need to cut off for your next ones, or you could just also hold them up there and cut a line there. So if you used the big paper that was given in your kit, it is a little bit longer. See what side you like better. Maybe you can cut off the other side. And then we're gonna do the same. I'm gonna put glue on the bottom of my next piece of paper. And lift it up, tuck it down. The main thing is you don't want to see any of the sky. So you have to bring it low enough so you don't see any sky below. And then you're just going to hold it down. Okay, so we'll wait for Addison to, perfect. So turn that over, she's turning that over. She's going to put a thin line of glue right here at the bottom. Great, and then tuck it in. And we have our last piece to go right there. So I'm going to put a thin line of glue and tuck that right in there. So I've got my 3 sets of textured waves, all different medias. I use some mediums, what I use, markers and water down here, crayons. You can choose whatever you want to use. I just used a variety. You can use one, all, however you want to do it. And then we'll set that aside and get to work on our boats. So I'm going to set this aside. For your boats, when you do origami, most often it is done with a square, a complete square. So you're going to grab one of your pieces of paper, and I'll show you how to measure a perfect square. Right now, Addison has her paper vertical. So keep your paper vertical, and you're going to bring one side over to the other. Make sure it's straight, and then press it down. I already got my squares cut, so I'm going to help Addison get hers. So she's going to open the paper back up and cut right down on that middle line. This is how we're making a square. This is going to be our boat, our sailboat. This is one that someone else did. With our sailboats, you can use markers, crayons, whatever you want. Okay, so to measure a perfect square, you're going to take one end. You can do it on that one while I do it on this one, actually. You're going to take one end of your paper and bring it over until it touches the other side. That's going to be your perfect square. So hold it there and press it down. If you want, you could make a little line, or you can just cut it like Addison's doing, whichever one's best for you. And now we have a perfect square. And then we can use this square to measure another perfect square. And cut it again. Okay, this is extra paper we don't need. So now we have two perfect squares. Just like this one here. Okay, so what I did first, take one of your squares. All right, you're gonna take one bottom corner up to the other corner. Just like this. So I took this corner and I went over straight like that. Good, press it down. Now you're gonna take this one straight up like this. So take this bottom corner, yep, perfect, and go straight up, just like that. And we're gonna do it again. We're basically making a diamond. So we have a diamond just like that, okay? And then we're gonna open it. Bring the top down, perfect. Yep, and there's your boat. Up and up. When you turn it over, mine are a little far apart there. I can refold those. And that's your sailboat. You're refolding?
Yeah.
Okay. So there's our sailboat. This part will be the boat. If you wanted, you could fold that over to make it flat on the bottom, but it won't really matter because we're gonna tuck that bottom down in. Okay, great. So you're gonna lay your sailboat out so they can see it? Fun. So now we're gonna decorate our sailboat. You can decorate it any way you want. If you want the bottom to look brown like wood, you can find some brown crayons and maybe do some textured wood back and forth there. Make some dark so it looks like wood planks and some lights. And then these two sails you can decorate any way you want with stripes, zigzag, lines, whatever you want. Just keep in mind, if you do your sails blue, they might blend in with your water. So you might want to pick some colors opposite of the wheel, maybe some hot colors like reds and oranges and yellows. And you can decorate your sails however you want. They probably, I've seen numbers before on sails. And you can do as many boats as you want. You can do different sizes of boats. You could put some bigger ones that would look like they're closer and some tinier ones that would look like they're farther away. If you want to add some marker in with your crayon, that's fine. Whatever you guys want to do to make this your own masterpiece. And then we'll be ready to tuck our boats into our water wherever you want them to go. So now that you have more than one square, you can do more than one sailboat and add those to your water. If it pops up like this and you don't like that, you can put a tiny dab of glue right here and glue those down. Typically you don't glue origami, but if you don't like that popping up, then that's fine, you can do that. Great, looks good. Next up, we're gonna add just a few clouds and sun. Again, you can do however you want. Maybe we'll do something different. You could do a sunset coming up. You could do a few clouds. You could do a cloud with the sun from behind it. So we'll try and do two different things here. So I'm taking that other half of my paper.
Push it to the side.
Yep, put that to the side. And you can see here what we did last time is when we were making our waves, our paper was turned horizontal, so our paper was too long. But if I had the paper vertical, it would have fit the same as my yellow. So you can have your paper vertical when you're doing your waves, then you won't have to trim off the edges like we did. So for the clouds, my example here that my friend did, they put faces and things on. That's up to you. You can do that if you want. An easy way, if you want to have two clouds that are the same, you can, I'm gonna fold my paper, and what you can do is make one cloud. So they like to draw theirs with a straight line, and then just a variety of bumpy or curved lines. It's okay. Like, if you know what, if you find something that you don't like, what you can do is turn the paper over and do it again. Or you could start with a pencil. That way, if you make a mistake, go ahead. Do you like that one better? All right, so what we're gonna do is keep our paper together and cut it out. Now I'm gonna have two of the same clouds and saving some time here, but if you don't want two of the same clouds, that's fine too. You can cut out two different clouds. If you cut them out and you don't like what you cut out, then you can just recut them. So here's my clouds. I definitely want to put the glue on this side so that when I turn it over, you don't see those marks. So I don't think I'm gonna draw faces on mine. Just laying them out like this. I'm not gonna glue them yet because I'm also going to, well, I think I'll just draw a sun. Addison's gonna get hers cut out here. All right, so, and do you like that shape or not really?
Not really.
So if she doesn't like it, if you cut out a shape you don't like, you can take scissors, maybe just add a few more bumps to one and try and get a shape that you're more happy with. I think that side's a little big. And then where's your yellow orange paper? All right, so let's lay these out and see what we think. This one, you want to recreate that one somehow? You can have two different looking ones. And then the last step, if you want to draw faces, things on your clouds, now's the time. Because once we get the glue on it, it's really hard because the glue acts kind of gooey and makes our paper gooey. So once we get glue, it's hard to draw on our papers. So I've got my clouds. I'm not sure here. My clouds are going to be overlapping just a little. I I think I'm going to not put faces on mine, but you're welcome to put any kind of funny faces. Maybe I'll just do a face on this one. Super happy person here. Okay, do you have your 2 clouds ready?
Yep.
Lay them out, see where you think you like them. And then if you want to draw on them, you need to draw on them now. Okay. And then we will glue them down. So if you want to put a funny face, you could put a cloud with sunglasses on. That would be funny too. You can have your clouds overlap. Maybe on this guy I'll do some sunglasses. He's super cool with his sunglasses on. Okay, so there's my cool guy cloud. And then I'm just gonna put glue around the outside edges of my clouds. Again, you can overlap if you want. I'm gonna tuck this guy behind. My cool cloud. Addison's got her clouds. And then I think I might put my sun coming out right here. You can put your sun, yeah. Addison's gonna put hers coming out of her clouds. You can either take some of your extra paper and make a sun. Is that what you're gonna do?
Yeah.
Okay, Addison's gonna make a sun out of her extra paper. I'm just going to draw mine with my crayons. And I'm using the bottom flat edge to just kind of do a rubbing. So it's looks like it's on fire. Just adding.
I'll just do that.
And you can, I'm gonna add some pink for a sunset. And I'm overlapping the colors. That's what's cool about like crayons and oil pastels. You can just kind of overlap your colors there. You know how there's so many colors in the sky. Let's see, what else do we have here? Maybe just a little bit of red, and I'm not going very hard. This guy has a funny face too, you could do if you wanted to. And again, maybe I'll decorate. Where's our brown? Do you have a brown crayon over there? Yep. Brought this. Decorate this guy real quick. You could put a name on your sailboat if you wanted. Let's see, my last name starts with a G, so I'm putting a G there. Now, if I were to color this with blue, when I tuck it in, you're gonna kind of lose the color. So remember, you might wanna pick some warm colors for your sails so they stand out really well. And you can tuck those in wherever you want. Addison's putting her clouds on now. She's got her sailboat tucked in. And thank you for joining us today. I hope you had a lot of fun. Again, everybody's art looks different and it's totally awesome that way, so nothing will look the same. Have fun, experiment, and we'll see you next time. Thanks.